Welcome to the Divided States of America show, where your host, Marlon Gardenera, takes on the most divisive issues in our divided nation. We'll sort through the best and worst of politics and culture, asking questions and looking for answers that our two-ring, two-party circus has failed to provide. And here is your host, Marlon Gardenera.
Hey everybody, it's Friday. You're tuned into the Divided States of America show. I'm your host, Marlon Gardenera. I'm grateful that each of you have had an opportunity to catch us, some live, some later. Either way, we appreciate your support. It has been wonderful. Starting this show has been a blast for me. I'm having a great time. I wish I had been in a position to dedicate more time to grow the show faster, but going slow has given me an opportunity to test different things, see what I like, see what I don't, different formats, different audio, visual setups, and I think maybe you saw a little glimpse of that. It's been a good time, and I appreciate you being willing to tune in show after show. Now, I also have to thank you for last week. You let me indulge the Transplant Games, sort of the Olympic-style events for people who are organ donors, living donors, people who've received organs, family members that have been involved in that process. You all let me indulge and talk about organ donation and its importance. Obviously, relative to me, I wouldn't be here without it. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. And obviously, my donor is a hero. I was lucky enough to be a donor, but taking an opportunity on this show to talk to you about it, hopefully giving you some information, or even just having recorded it and people having the ability to go back in the future and just, hey, what was that all about? What was he talking about? It's there. It'll be there forever. So I appreciate you letting me indulge. But I also came to another realization. As I sat down and was reviewing the topics in the news and the discussions that are happening, I said, it's getting hard to do divisive, difficult issues on Friday. Now, this may be a result of me being in San Diego, California. It's 83, which is 11 degrees warmer than we want it. Yes, San Diegans have become whiny. We want 72 and a breeze. When I last looked, it was 83 degrees. That's too hot. And I know I shouldn't be complaining. There are some of you sweltering. There are some of you without AC. There are people all over the country and all over the world who are suffering today. And I'm upset about 11 degrees warmer than we like it. Having said that, for most of the world, it's the last day of the work week. We get to go on and with any luck at all, for those people in that situation, to take a little time off, to rejuvenate, hopefully to connect with yourself or a book, or a walk, or a bike ride, or sitting outside, or sitting inside, but connecting with anyone or anything that matters to you. But in that realization that Fridays are really difficult to keep talking about bad things. It's not how I want to start my weekends. I want to start my weekends with joy stories. I want to start my weekends with good news. Now, the only unfortunate part was I started looking around for good news. I don't have a crack staff of reporters. I'm not in every location around the world and able to gather the facts and information and interview all sorts of people. So what I do have is a little bit more time than the average person. So I'm able to dig into stories and read a little bit more and get a better idea of what's going on out there. Having said that, there's not a lot of good news. Now, there are good things that happen, but there are not a lot of people who focus on bringing that to our attention. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time moving forward looking for good news. And when I host shows or put up shows on Friday, it will be with that good news. But the format change, or the big change for me, is that I'm not going to come on here every Friday and talk about bad things. Not interested. Doesn't sound good, doesn't sound fun. And as I live every day as joyfully as I can, as I try to find joy, it's out there. It's out there on your worst day. There's something positive. It may not outweigh the bad, but there's something out there. Since I'm constantly on the lookout for it, having survived enough health issues to have a greater appreciation than many people, that's what I want to talk about. So if you see me or hear me on a Friday live on the Divided States of America show, that's the only thing I intend to talk about: good news and joy stories. Now, I'll need your joy stories. I'll need things that are going on in your life And I'd certainly love to hear about things surrounding divisive issues that have a better outcome. Maybe talking to someone you haven't talked to, maybe coming to a compromise with someone that up until now you couldn't even have a productive conversation. The joy stories could be a list of different things, but I want you to send them to me. Host at thedsashow.com. I want to hear the good that's going on for you. Likewise, I'll look for joy stories, little things and big things for the people involved. There was a young lady who had J.J. Watt's, NFL football player, a pair of his shoes. She was selling the shoes so she could help pay for the funeral for her grandfather. J.J. Watt heard, he paid for the funeral. There are things like that out there. I want to find them. I want to present them. If I'm going to do shows on Fridays, it's going to be the transition from the divide to the united, from the divide to joy. So keep that in mind. Going to host shows Monday through Thursday, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. Fridays, there'll be occasional shows, but don't count on it every day. But if there is a show, it's going to be with good news. I appreciate you all. It's a joy story for me to keep doing this show. It's a joy story to have you out there listening. It will be a greater joy story when we add more people to the fray, when we have more respectful, thoughtful opinions, when we're covering topics that affect our day-to-day lives with people and the different impacts. Joy story, I guess in the divisive world, we added 528,000 new jobs last month. There's been a 5% wage increase for the average hourly worker. It doesn't catch up with inflation, but most employers don't take money back. So a joy story, hopefully down the line, will be inflation is in check and the wages are still up and we're better off. And this time that we've had to go through, it was just a period of time. Hopefully the effort by the Fed and interest rates won't go so much higher that it becomes that much more difficult, but we're trying to stop inflation. Nonetheless, all of these things can become joy stories. If you're looking for it, you'll find it. I'm going to start looking for it on Fridays. But what I'm not going to do is burden your weekend and put a cloud over your head when the sun might otherwise be shining. You might be headed to the beach or a park or a lake or a pond. That's what I want Fridays to be about. So today is short. Today is sweet. Go find joy. Go find things that make you happy. Go find things that take away the divisive issues for a couple of days. And for those of you who have a hard time doing it, find joy in a smile, find joy in a flower, find joy in anything you can, because it's Friday and most of us have an opportunity to rejuvenate, reconnect, take advantage of it. We're certainly going to start doing that here on the Divided States of America show. I appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, today's a short one, setting up what we expect to have in the future. But most importantly, what I expect you to have in your very near future is some joy. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for watching the Divided States of America show. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to the channel and share this video with your family and friends.